Hey guys, what's up? MadSeason here, back with another video for you in the quest log series where I go over some of the more epic or cool quest chains in World of Warcraft. In this one, we're returning to the Scepter of the Shifting Sands chain. In the first part, we covered the beginning of the chain, we talked about the war effort to open the gates, some head collecting, some insect part collecting, and how we needed to rebuild this special scepter by going all around the world collecting different colored shards. We covered the green shard in part 1, so you may want to watch that one first. I'll have a link in the description. So, we just have 2 more to go, the blue and the red shards. The latter was actually pretty simple compared to the other chains. If you remember, our contact for this whole chain, Anachronos, entrusted these shards to various dragons. The red one was entrusted to Velistraz, who you may remember as the second boss in the Blackwing Lair raid. We already visited this place once for the Broodlord Lashlairs head, but this time, things are a little more difficult. If you're on this part of the chain, Velistraz will offer you a special quest called Nefarious Corruption. He explains to you that Nefarian has stolen the Red Scepter shard and will destroy it within 5 hours, making this a timed run. That's right, you have to rush from Velistraz all the way to Nefarian, which was 7 bosses total, in under 5 hours. Remember, AQ40 wasn't out at this point of course, so this wasn't a joke. It varied from guild to guild, but you had to have your stuff together to make the timer, and have this place on farm. No more help from other raids like with the green shard, this was just you and your guild in a raiding time trial. If you failed, you actually got a pretty funny letter from the man himself, sort of taunting you for your unsuccessful attempt. From the desk of Lord Victor Nefarious, to whom it may concern. How I love these games we play. I can only assume that if you're reading this letter, you have somehow, through miracle or divine intervention, managed to vanquish me. Preposterous, I know, but stranger things have happened in the history of this world. As with all things in life, there is a glorious silver lining of tragedy, chaos, and evil in this sorrowful tale. While you have slain me, you have done so in such a slow and disorderly fashion that I have had time enough to write this letter after I destroyed your only hope of saving this world. The crushed red crystal powder is all that is left of your scepter shard. Enjoy the Nemesis and Stormrage armaments that you may find in my treasure trove. Believe me when I tell you this, I take great pleasure in knowing that I did what my father could not. Sincerely, Lord Victor Nefarious, aka the artist formerly known as Nefarian. Jeez, what a jerk. But if you were successful, that was it. You got the red shard. And again, just like the Broodlord Lashlair and the Nightmare shard from the Twilight Corruptor, just one dropped. So this is the 3rd single drop item we've covered so far, so at this point, most of the people who started this chain were weeded out, and only a select few would press on through this gauntlet of questing, grinding, and raiding. You had until the Cataclysm expansion to finish this chain, but to get all of the rewards, you were under a strict time limit here, so time was of the essence. And in addition to the shard, you also got a choice between some Shadow Resistance Agility legs, or a Shadow Resist amulet. Like I said, pretty straightforward compared to that green shard, although it was still pretty challenging. Just 1 more to go. The blue shard, you may remember, was given to Azure Ghost for protection. You could find him in Ashara, either his dragon or his spirit. He was an outdoor raid boss, so it was problematic also having him as a quest giver, so they had mercy and they gave you an alternate way to speak with him via his ghost. So, you engage with conversation with him, he hands you the shard, and that's it. Nah, just kidding. Of course he doesn't have the shard. Great choice of guardians, by the way, Anna. He says the reason he lost it is because he can't take 5 steps without some crazed orc or a human trying to thrust a stick into his hide. Well, he kind of has a point there, I guess. Us adventurers are kind of maniacal, mindless killers if you really think about it. He says that he held onto the shard for 500 years and it was nothing but trouble, so he sort of pawned it off to a minnow. But not just any minnow, a magical one. And to lure it out, you need a device called an Arcanite buoy. To build this buoy, he gives you a ledger/schematic to deliver to a gnome in Tanris named Narain Soothfancy. But there's just one problem. The schematic is written in Draconic language, and to decipher it, you need some Scrying Goggles, Volume 2 of Draconic for Dummies, and a 500-pound chicken. As you probably guessed, these items are locked behind quest chains. First, we have the Scrying Goggles. Narain explains that his ex-best friend forever, Stuvil, stole these goggles long ago, and that we have to go steal them back. He says that Stuvil is either in the Outland, or the Silver Pine Forest next to the Greymane Wall, which at this point enclosed all of the Worgen. Well, considering that the Burning Crusade hadn't launched yet, he's probably at the wall. Looking around, you found no NPC, but you did find an inconspicuous crate to the left of the road near the gate. Investigating, you find that Stuvil is in the crate hiding. He's been running away from Narain, even going through the dark portal to the Outland. He says that he'd give up the goggles, but he lost them in the Molten Core raid. So, just like every other part of the chain, we got some more raiding content here. These goggles had a very low chance to drop from any trash mob inside the instance, so it's not too bad. I think most guilds had this place on farm by now, so this was the easier part of the chain, I'd say. If you return the goggles to Narain, you get some potions as a bonus, and that's one of 3 items down. For the chicken, you're sent to a goblin named Dirge Quickcleave in the Gadgetzan Inn, also in Tanris. He says that you're out of luck because there doesn't exist a 500-pound chicken, surprisingly enough, so we'll have to improvise. He sends you to the Isle of Dread in the Fairless Zone, which is filled with high-level elite chimera. You need to kill him until you get 20 chimeric tenderloins, and then you need to take out the biggest one there, named Lord Lakmaran. You need to loot his carcass. For the generic elite chimera, you only needed a party of people, perhaps even soloable by some classes. Lord Lakmaran, however, needed a raid to take down, so you needed your guild with you. And to follow the scheme of things, he only dropped 1 carcass per kill, so if you had multiple people on this part, you'd have to do a bit of farming and compete against other guilds too, since it was out in the world. There was no server hopping back then, so you just have to camp it. If you're successful, you return to Dirge, but to complete the recipe, he offers you the follow-up quest where he asks for 20 each of Deep Rock Salt and Goblin Rocket Fuel. The rocket fuel was an engineered reagent made by alchemists, and the salt you could get from earth elementals throughout the world, so this part was soloable, thankfully. And as a reward, you get the purple cooking pattern, Dirge's Kickin' Chimeric Chops, which is a rarity today. You can very rarely find it on the auction house at a steep price, but they're hard to come by. If you learned it, you got a powerful food item that gave you 25 stamina at the time, which was nothing to sneeze at. But it did require that chimera meat to make, so it was kinda difficult to farm. But anyways, back to the quest. Dirge improvises that 500-pound chicken for you, and has you deliver it to Narain, and that's 2 of 3 complete. The last one was the most involved, and that's Draconic for Dummies Volume 2. Narain says that he has a book hidden away on a faraway island south of the Tanris Zone, and he said that he needed a gyrocopter to reach it, which is great because he couldn't fly at this point. So, he tells you to find this crashed gyrocopter on the southern beach of the zone and swim south from there. But the problem is that the island is located in fatigue waters, and simply swimming there will result in your death. Now, you could use water walking spells or swim speed potions to get there, but if those weren't available, you had to do a little side quest here. You have to find a special friendly Naga NPC named Meredith the Mermaiden located in the waters near the beach. She met Narain when he crashed on the shore and asks you to deliver her love letter to him. Doing this will unlock some dialogue with her where she gives you a swim speed buff so you can safely reach the island. Probably one of the least visited areas of the game back in the day. There's a little hut, some doodads about, and a mound of dirt where the book is buried. Digging it up though, you instead find a ransom letter. Hey, you really didn't think it was going to be that easy, did you? You return this letter to Narain, and the instructions are that he's to deliver some gold at a drop-off point all the way in the Winter Spring Zone. He instead gives you a bag of rocks, a trap, and a disguise that changes your appearance to his. The actual drop-off point is located way out here on the map in the southeast. It's this small little peak here. So, you use the disguise, place the bag of rocks, and an NPC named Dr. Weevil will show up. Hey, why does everyone get to fly? Did these guys buy Cataclysm already? What's going on? Naturally, the plan doesn't work. Weevil sees through the disguise and summons a giant ape named Number 2 to attack you. This thing was a level 61 elite, requiring a party of 5 to take down, so he had to bring some friends. I remember helping a guildmate kill it back in the day, and getting knocked off the cliff to my doom. So he had to make sure that you pulled him away from there. Although you killed the ape, you're still bookless, and returning to Narain, you find out that Weevil ripped out the pages of the book and scattered them across the world, so we gotta track them down naturally. This is the start of a lot of globetrotting. These chapters are located all across the world, and are locked behind solo, party, and raiding content, and it's the roughest part of the blue shard chain. I think we'll call it a video here. I wanted to get it done in 2 parts, but I gotta stop talking, so we'll finish up the chain in part 3, I guess. I hope you're enjoying the series so far, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Farewell for now, mortals. We hope you enjoyed today's video. See you again soon.